Don't even film me.
How you doing in here?
I'll let you get down there. I can't figure it out. I've no idea.
What are you doing with all those screwdrivers? So we got to get underneath there. You. That's where the water heater is, and we got to unhook it. And we can't figure out how to get these drawers out. This shouldn't be that difficult. It's got to happen.
Let's figure this out.
So we couldn't find any videos on YouTube about this, how to release these.
So
and we took one out. And it's on the actual drawer part.
It's on the drawer. It's not on the bar itself. We were thinking it was on the bar.
Yeah, we were looking for it on the bar.
I don't know why, but
it's on the drawer.
But let me see that. Let me show them what this looks like. So this will probably help. I don't know if you can tell or not, but see how there's a groove on the top part of that bar, and there's a groove on the top part of, how come I can't find the bar? Of that bar. And on these, there's a groove on the bottom. See this groove right here? I need about 4 hands today. Can't show you because the light won't shine on it. But see right there? Right there. Sorry about this. Anyway, so that's the part that you need to
show inside here with the light.
So these on the side actually pull up. One pulls up, and then one, well, that one feels like it pulls up too. I thought they said one pulls up and one pulls down.
I felt like it on the other one. But
maybe once it's in the track, it just feels different. But just so you know, but here's
what has to be done now. So it's still not easy access.
No, not really. And this is the access panel you were thinking that maybe could come out?
But I don't really know that'll help you. It's probably too low.
Yeah.
Everything really. Low. So you got a cold water, a hot water. That's hot at the top, I would think. Cold goes in at the bottom. You have a heat exchanger, which I didn't think was in use on this one, but apparently it is. And that must be heating the tank from circulating the water from the engine, is what I'm assuming. And then your propane has to come out from there. And all of this has to happen through this little opening right here. So this should be a lot of fun.
Alright, I'm turning this off.
Christina's going to be busy. So before you start unhooking anything on the inside, make sure you pull the plug on the water heater. 7/8 wrench, and drain it so you don't have water running all over inside. So you could possibly run into the same thing I did here. That 7/8 wrench should have worked on this, but it's made out of plastic and it's so beat up from being drained and then tightened so many times that I had to put a set of vice grips on it to loosen it up. But so once you loosen it with the vice grips, you can get it out the rest of the way with a 7/8. And the angle you have to get at is weird in these. It always is. So there's definitely water in there. You want to get out of the way because it's going to come pouring out. So that's what the plug looks like on these. There's no anode rod because these are aluminum tanks. So I'm not used to this type. The other ones that I've had are Suburban, so we'll see how this goes. But it's only 6 gallons, so I don't even know if it was full. It had been bypassed because it wasn't working. It has a leak up by the underneath the pressure relief valve. I don't think it was properly drained when it was winterized. That's a problem. You gotta make sure you bypass these and drain them before you put the RV antifreeze in. I'm going to start out with the easy one. That'd be the hot water coming off the top of this. I've already got this loosened. I used my channel locks, and it really wasn't too bad. I loosened it, and then I'm like, oh, there's water in there. Because we haven't had this very long, and it has been bypassed. I didn't know if it was already drained, but It wasn't. As soon as I started seeing a trickle of water coming off the top, I decided I'd just drain it. It was pretty simple. One thing I would like to remind you of, I just took my cell phone and took a picture of how all of this is hooked up. It's probably not a bad idea whenever you do anything like this you're not totally familiar with, just to make sure that everything goes back where it came from. So my old vice grips were getting tired, so I had to break out the brand new vice grips. You might remember in a past video about these at Tractor Supply. So they're going to come in handy today. Oh, and I plugged this thing in and turned the air conditioning on. That's going to feel good, because it's a hot day here in northern New York. Now we have the top water supply. That's the one coming off. That's the hot water. And then the cold on the bottom, that one's actually disconnected. So you have to do this all through this opening. And the problem I'm having, I keep hitting my bald head on this thing. So I think I'm going to remove that. Well, you probably can't see it. I've got a nice cut and it was bleeding. Top of my head. Time for that thing to go before I get too injured. So I have the one antifreeze line off from there. It came right off from this nipple right here. And I squeezed it off with a set of like needle nose vice grips, making sure not to pinch it so much that you ruin the hose or put a split in it. And a little bit of antifreeze came out, but it wasn't much, so it should be okay. So I'm going to get another set of regular vice grips, and I'm going to pinch that one off before I unhook it. I've got that hose clamp loosened up back there right now, and I keep hitting my head on the top of this right here. Getting a little aggravated. So did you connect to it? Maybe it's not connected. No, I don't think so. I think I have everything on
that
disconnected.
One in the back? It's like these. It looks like these, but it's bigger. Does that mean it's electric? It looks like it's maybe wires.
The propane runs through it. It might be a conduit that's on the outside of the propane. So she got that second one on.
I think that everything's unhooked.
Okay. Now the tricky part is getting it to pull out. I sure wish there was enough slack to hook all of this stuff up on the outside instead of having to do it on the inside on the new tank. But no such luck. I swear, folks, I should hire her out. She is a female wrecking crew. I go inside to find a small pinch bar, pry bar, and I come out and this is what she's got done. And I was gone maybe 5 minutes. So when you put her on a job, it's called determination, and not wanting a job to take all day.
That's right.
Because she hasn't got the patience for that. Ain't nobody got the time for that.
There.
Look at that. Good thing I came out here when I did. She would have had it all done.
All right, that propane is still, that's going to have to go through
there,
That has
to be poked through there, yep.
Can you poke it through there?
I can try. Oh, you want me to do something?
You've done a lot. Will you stop? Here, I'll get the screwdriver. Just put this. There's not a valve or something in there that I have to worry about, is there?
No. But there is a like a rubber grommet around it that is probably keeping it from going through there. There you go. See that? She even did that part.
All right. Looks like somebody chewed a lot of gum. So should this slide right out?
That's the whole theory, as long as everything is... Oh, this has to get out of the way. What? That's going to hold the whole thing up. Is there any way you can push that down to where there's an opening?
I'm sorry, but I have to get in the way of the camera.
Oh, you can't do that. The video is more important.
There.
You are amazing.
Oh, yes. That's so amazing.
I'm not just blowing smoke. You really are.
So you unhooked his wires, you said?
Yeah. So female can do this job all by herself. You could have done it. You did most of it.
True.
I really hope the other one fits. All right, I'm going to set...
I smell propane.
Yeah, you're getting a little bit through, probably. I'm going to set the camera down and see if we can get this off. I don't know. Oh, something still is hooked up. Hang on.
I have no choice but to hang on.
Huh. Okay, I guess I got to deal with this. I didn't know. See, I had all these wires unhooked.
Okay, can you put the camera down?
I don't know what that is.
So
I'm a very novice. I've never done this before. I unplugged this thinking this was all my electrical connections, and we were trying to pull this thing out. Luckily, this had enough slack you could still pull it out. We used the old stand that we cut out of the held our old TV. The electrical connection for the electric heat, so it's a pretty decent sized wire, was still connected. So I looked at the other one. It's just got wires coming off from right here, so they're gonna have to be spliced. So I'm gonna cut this right here. So we unplugged the camper and we turned off all the shore power breakers to make sure I'm not going to get electrocuted when I do that. Well, I'll actually have you do it.
I draw the line.
Grab your cutters.
My cutters?
Yeah, you're going to cut that wire.
Cropping off while you're doing that. I'll do the safe job. Ready?
Yeah, I think so.
You're not even funny. I didn't even focus in. I was so worried about you. I'm focused in on the hot water heater. Sorry. You're hilarious.
We are. So I had to resort to getting the little torch out and heating up this to get it to break free. But it worked. It's turning now.
So there, folks, is the amount of putty I got off from around the hot water heater. Beautiful, isn't it? So I don't know if it needs to be any cleaner than that. I probably can take something to kind of clean it up a little bit more, but it's not bad. Not bad.
So this one wouldn't come off either.
Oh boy.
Doesn't look like we use it upside down. Before I had to heat it up till I saw the pipe though bubbling.
Oh yeah.
Do it all the way around it. That should do it. Soften it up.
Don't touch that with your bare hands. Look at it smoking.
Yeah. So I took the brass fittings off the old tank, and I put them on here, and I put the plumber's tape, the Teflon tape, on the ends to get that ready. I bared the wires back more. I'm going to put wire nuts on them, and then I'm going to tape them. I cut the plug off the other. Luckily the colors were all the same, so I matched them all up. And I bared them back quite a ways, and I twisted them up really tight. And I'm just going to black tape those. There's not going to be any strain or anything on them. They should be fine. So I'll black tape those, and then we can just plug it together, because this just came with wires. Kind of like the fact that this has a plug on it. That's the plug from the other one. So I taped up all these wires, and then I put tape on this whip just to keep it all together. So I think I've got it pretty much ready to be put in. So we hooked up all of our wires, and we fished the propane line through that hole, and we got that lined up. And just wanted to point out something. This screw had fallen out, and I saw it had fallen out of the thing when I opened it, and I didn't know what it went to. And then this was just flopping in the breeze, and you can't get on that one. I'll test this one, make sure that's tight, make sure this one's tight. Yeah, I tested it like that, but you can't get much torque on it. Let's make sure this one's tight. This one stuff probably loosens up in transit.
It's pretty tight.
So everything else seems tight.
Yeah.
So you just want to make sure everything's good. Make sure that when you tuck these in, this is sharp around the edge of this. And make sure that doesn't cut your wires, because your wires are on the top. So we looked inside. The wires all seemed like they went in good. And it looks like the fit is just about perfect, because this flange bends back and then these line up here. So so the next thing is we'll put the butyl, I guess that's what it's called, buttle tape. We've got that right over here. And we'll seal it up. This is what this stuff is. It's basically just putty in the shape of tape. So this sticks pretty good.
Just wrap it around.
Yep. Just make sure it's going to do a good seal, and then bend these back and then put the screws in. And hopefully the screw holes line up, because now that you put that tape there, you can't tell where your old screw holes were.
Nope. Well, we'll see.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, we'll be back.
Look at this woman go at it here. So these are the antifreeze lines that she's hooked up. She's already got one of them hooked up. She's got one of the water supplies. Which one?
The bottom one.
The bottom, that's the cold. She's got the cold hooked up already. These just slide on the nipple. Guess you're not going to see that. She's doing a heck of a job. She fits in there better than me. They're working? Mm-hmm. Well, good. Alright, there's the new fitting that we had to MacGyver at the hardware store. Hopefully it doesn't leak. Everything else is hooked up. Time to put some water into it. So as luck would have it, on this hot water water heater replacement, on our last fitting, the plastic fitting broke. So went to the hardware store, tried to MacGyver what we thought we could use for a fitting, and it leaked bad. So a couple days later, Amazon, $3, we had the right fitting. Just put it on, very easy. Check for a gas leak with Dawn dishwashing liquid. Listen to this. Dishwashing liquid all around where these go together, and then you look for bubbles. And if you have bubbles, then you probably need to tighten it some more. We didn't have any bubbles, so I felt comfortable enough to turn the switch on. Propane inside, so it's got a really nice flame. And before you do this, you got to make sure that your hot water heater is not bypassed anymore. Your water heater. And run the hot water, make sure that all of the air is purged out of the system. Very important. So you don't want to burn out your brand new water heater right there. Sorry I didn't bring my light in. I'll show you what this looks like. So we did them in sequence that would be easiest to get to. Still got to fire this thing up, make sure that my heat exchanger, so it's going to be antifreeze off the engine that heats water in this as well. That type of water heater has that on it. So we got to make sure that doesn't leak. So once I got my water going, I made sure that I had no leaks, and everything seems to be running good. So I'm going to try the hot water. And there still could be air in the line, so you're liable to get a burst of air sometimes. Oh, it's already nice and warm. So we're working on propane. That's a good thing. So as long as I'm hooked up to electricity, I might as well try it on electric. So So I shut this off, and you hear it go off. And when you want it back on, you just turn it on, and it should light right up. See if we can hear it. I can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it on the videotape. Yep, came right on. That's good. So here's the next one. This is a combo unit. Runs on 110 and propane. So I haven't tried this yet. Oh, I just heard it kick on. Well, the difference with this is you're not going to be able to hear it. I did hear it kick on. And I'll go outside and check everything, make sure there's nothing alarming. But you don't hear it like you do the propane. You just have to feel for hot water in a little while. So I'm just looking on this where the heating element is. Huh. Can't really tell. On my other one, you could tell where the electric heating element was. So on this one, we'll just have to check it in a little while and see if the water's hot. So I did the installation. When you put these in, these flanges are sticking out. They're like, picture this as turned like this. You put it in, you put that butyl tape, and then you bend this back so that these are flat with the wall, and then just put in all these screws. And we didn't even have to trim it or anything after on this particular one. And then you have to put these things in the corner so that your door will attach. And there's one thing right here that sticks out a little bit, because I use the original door. A lot of times I'll try to sell you a door, and I didn't think I needed a door, and I don't really need a door. It fits pretty good, but it does stick out on this corner a little bit. So there's something in there that's hitting, and I'm probably going to make an adjustment on that. It looks like it's hitting right here, so I might be able to bend this, or bend this probably a little bit, maybe even loosen that, bend this over and get that so that the door will sit flush. So I was talking earlier about the plumbing part that broke. It was this outside piece. Christina was tightening it with the channel locks. And it's old and brittle, and it cracked. So a little thing like that can hold up your project sometimes. So let's see if this electric hot water heater is working. So everything smells okay in here. Don't smell any electrical burning or anything like that. I'm going to check the fuses down here. Make sure we haven't popped the breaker. Okay, let's see if this water is getting hotter. Oh yeah. I believe that is working. Water's quite a bit warmer than it was before. It hasn't been on very long. Okay. Success, I think, folks. I don't really want to leave this on, so I think that's all the testing we're going to do for now. I'll test it a little more later. So in all the excitement of checking for water leaks, I never fired up the motorhome and checked for antifreeze leaks, because this one has that heat exchanger built into it. So I don't know if you can see this. There's just a pipe that runs on the side of the water heater right there, and your antifreeze from your engine actually heats your water. So I didn't even realize we had that till I had to replace this thing. So it sounds like a good idea. I think some people probably do away with it, but I don't see any reason why you wouldn't, other than the fact if you couldn't stop a leak, possibly. Hopefully that's not the case here. So to check for leaks for that, start it up, and your cooling system will cycle, and then you go back here and check for leaks. Then I got to do this before I put this cross piece and the drawers back in. You'll never see in there after you do that. So you're looking for drips right around these hoses. There's two of them. There's an inlet and an outlet. Probably even turn the heat on. So now I've turned the cab heat on, and I still don't see anything. Oh, so I don't think we're gonna have a problem here. Hopefully not. We'll just have to kind of keep an eye out for it. I think we're good. In the comment section, maybe somebody could share how much we saved by putting this in ourselves. We took our time, step by step, watched a couple of YouTube videos. Seems like everything's working, and right now it doesn't seem like there's any leaks. Did we save $500 from having it done in an RV place? I wouldn't be surprised. So I think you could do it too.